This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. Today is November 20, 2022. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the channel. It's an absolute pleasure to have you this morning. Happy Sunday, family, and I'm wishing for all of you a great and a safe day. Now, this morning, family, we begin with a story where the FLA is reporting that 20,000 firearms are in circulation with lapsed permits. So lapsed permits meaning that the license would have not been renewed for these firearms. So the FLA naturally plan to begin a crackdown. And so a crackdown meaning that, I'm thinking that they will go out and will maybe take a closer look, find strategic ways to find these persons with these firearms that are not renewed. So it begs the question, what is the reason for these firearms not being renewed? And, is it that the person may have passed away? Or, is it that the persons are just, neglectful and not renewing the firearm? Or is it that the firearms are stolen? Because the FLA went on to say that 299 legally registered guns have been reported lost or stolen over the last 5 years. That is a lot. And can you imagine if it is that it's in the wrong hands? So this could be maybe one of the reasons, in my opinion, why we are having so much crime and violence, because you have guns in the wrong hands, of course. So let me know what are your thoughts on this one. So just drop it in the comment section and let us have a discussion about it. Alright, so the story says, nearly 20,000 guns are currently in circulation for which the permits have lapsed, Jamaica's firearms regulator has disclosed. The Firearm Licensing Authority revealed too that 299 legally registered guns have been reported lost or stolen over the last 5 years. A total of 19,449 gun permits were not renewed between April 2019 and November 11 this year, causing the FLA to classify them as guns at risk. Now, with the window closed on the latest gun amnesty, the FLA says all the permits will be revoked in a crackdown that could result in long prison sentences for delinquent license holders under Jamaica's new gun law, the Firearms Prohibition, Restriction, and Regulation Act, which took effect earlier this month. They could be lost or stolen from the owners, or the persons could be dead. These are all possibilities. So that's why we consider them at risk, the FLA explained to the news. We don't know if the firearms are still in their possession. We don't know if the ballistic signatures have changed or whether the permit holders have moved. So they are at risk at the moment. A more worrying concern for security expert Lieutenant Commander George Overton is whether these weapons have fallen into other hands. Jamaica recorded just under 13,000 murders over the last decade, 80% of which involved the use of firearm, police data show. Up to November 16, the police recorded 1,363 murders this year, a 5.9% increase when compared with the corresponding period last year. So family, you hear what has been happening with the FLA and the gun permits that have not been renewed and the concerns that are out there when we listen to Commander George Overton, whose concern is, where is the enforcement by the FLA? That's a question that he has asked. And the FLA Corporate Communications Officer disclosed also that 6,082 gun license holders failed to renew their permits for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. So, yes, the concern is, and the question is, if this is happening, why is the FLA, or why were they not, more proactive to do something about this, Because I'm thinking they have everybody's address, they should know where persons are, but, then the question is, have they actually gone out and checked? So like I said, let me know what you think about this one in the comment section. All right? So Real News Media TV family, in our next story, we talk about how, land dispute is blamed for a family triple murder. So on November 1 of this year, there was a story where a businessman, his name is Evan Francis, 61 years old, and his wife Alicia Francis, 46, and They were gunned down as they attempted to enter their yard on Duke Street in Tollgate, Clarendon, after arriving in separate vehicles on the afternoon of November 1, like I said before. And only hours before that, the lifeless body of Evans' 39-year-old son, Kenrick, who was a taxi driver, was found on a roadway in Milk River in the parish, and he is believed to have been shot dead earlier the same day. Alright, so though the police have not declared an official motive, the detectives theorize that the two cases are linked, with the seeds of the tragic turn of events likely planted 4 years ago according to records. So the story says family patriarch William Francis Evans' father died on March 5, 2018, and following his burial a month later, some of his children and other relatives convened for the reading of his will. The late retired tractor driver named several beneficiaries, including his grandson Kenrick, whom he gave a portion of the sought-after Duke Street property where Evan had a house, along with other relatives. So what I'm picking up from this story is that, the grandfather died, and in his will he would have left a portion of the property to his grandson, who is Kenrick. And remember, now we talked about Kenrick, the taxi driver who was murdered, right? So this story continues. The man's estate was not settled, however, as shortly after Evan emerged with a will he claimed contained the true wishes of his father. So the Evan being referred to here, this gentleman who came up with, a second will, is Kenrick's father. This is the father of the taxi driver that was murdered. So the story continues. That purported will included members of the family who were not beneficiaries in the first will, while some listed in the first were not to be found in the second, according to a police source, and the members of the family who declined to be named. Kenrick was among those not named in the will produced by his father. The Clarendon police have confirmed that Kenrick filed a complaint with the fraud squad. The size of the property was reduced years ago after the government bought a portion for the construction of the Maypen to Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000. There is a view in the family that with the highway so close to the property, its value would rise significantly. Evan and one of his brothers occupied the different premises on the property. Kenrick, who started to build on the property, reportedly had to abandon the plans and move away to Milk River as the dispute with his father intensified. So guys, apparently Kenrick and his dad were not getting along, all because of the land that was, what people call dead left. So Kenrick was on the first will, but the one produced by his father did not have his name on it. So I guess, some sort of problems would have developed and it would have affected their relationship. So Kenrick moved away, according to the story. So the deep rift divided the family, one side supporting Kenrick and the other defending Evan. Relatives overseas also reportedly fueled the dispute. The matter dragged on until Sunday, October 31, when Evan called a meeting with his children and other relatives to discuss a development, a report said. Kenrick was not present as it was said that he was not invited. His father disclosed at the meeting that he was being sued by Kenrick for an alleged bogus will. Evan had received a letter from Kenrick's lawyer asserting that the second will was not valid. At least one of his children reportedly pointed out that the signature on the will he produced appeared different from that on the first one. Almost 24 hours after the meeting, Kenrick was found dead, and within 24 hours after that, his father and the stepmother were shot dead. According to police reports, Evan and his wife drove up separately at their home on Duke Street sometime after 5 p.m. on the afternoon of November 1. Evan exited his vehicle to open the gates while his wife sat inside her car. Gunmen approached and shot them multiple times. The whereabouts of Kenrick's mother is unclear, and the police said they found it curious that Evan did not turn up to identify his son. Kenrick's post-mortem is scheduled for tomorrow. Relatives and residents of the community have remained tight-lipped on the triple tragedy and the sordid family disputes. "I am grieving," said one of Evan's children in declining to be interviewed. Head of the Clarendon Police, Superintendent Carlos Russell, said the land dispute is the likely motive behind the killings. "This is a dispute between the family about the property. We have not found the shooters, so we are doing that investigation. We have some persons interviewing, so we are hoping to reach somewhere with that," Russell told the news last week. Several members of the family has given statements to the police. So family, this land business, and family getting into conflicts over it, and to the point sometimes that they kill each other and all of that. It's so unfortunate. But this, I find this to be very prevalent in our society. What are your thoughts on this one? Let me know. So family, we have come to the end of our newscast for this morning. Thanks for being here with us. And do remember to join us later today for additional news updates. Alright, so do have a productive and a safe day. And as one of our faithful subscribers would say, drive defensively, drive to arrive alive. See you later. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.